Good evening. Hope everybody's doing well. I hope my mic's working. It was working beautiful earlier, and now it's like, yeah, kind of. It's there, but try that a little bit. Anyway, hope everybody's doing well. Been kind of a slow day in news. It's not that there wasn't any important news that went on, but I'm kind of used to this fast pace of everything going off a cliff at one time. And today we only had a couple of things going off the cliff at any given time. So hey, that's improvement? Question mark. So the big talk today is the Nord Stream pipeline, and in fact, I only got 4 tabs open, and they're all about the Nord Stream pipeline. So hey, and then we got the headlines, but nothing. Like I say, there's not just been a ton of really, hard-hitting news, if you will. As you can tell, the setup's different tonight. It will likely stay this way, question mark. We'll see. It's going to take a lot of getting used to. I will say I don't like it. But I did it this way because when the video card gets here, I should have enough power in that card to be able to run all 3 monitors in the flight sim itself. I set everything up like this, and earlier I went in with the video card I've got now, and I couldn't do it at JFK, but there was another place I was flying around that it was working pretty smoothly, so I have high hopes. Anyway, and if you don't have VR, but you've got 3 monitors, then this is your next best thing to VR. So, oh man, I got the 3060 Ti is what I got, and I got the Gigabyte, the one with the 3 fans, because a lot of the manufacturers make a version with 3 fans and a version with 2 fans. I got the Gigabyte 3060 Ti with the 3 fans. So I can't wait. Mucho improvement over what I've got. Well, I've got currently this card I'm running has 4 gigabytes, and I think it's GDDR6. However, it's at it's running only at 128-bit. The card I'm getting, which by the way, the bit is how fast it can communicate, how fast the memory on the video card can communicate with the processor on the video card. So, very important number. The card I'm getting is 8 gigabytes, and the bit is 256 bits. So not only does it have twice the memory, but that memory can speak to the processor twice as fast. So it's going to be a very considerable improvement over what I've got. So, anywho, let's see. Have another sip. That coffee's tasting good. Oh, man. So, yep, mark it on the calendar. The desk is clean. And, probably won't be for another 4 or 5 years. No, I'm kidding. But, I do let it get a little cluttered, but it's not now. Alright, like I say, I've got 4 tabs open. I don't really have any major subject to talk about other than what's going on in the news. A bit tired because that was a bit of a task today. Getting all that took down and had to clean everything up. I swear the back of my monitors had like a 1/4 inch of dust on them. I know I'm supposed to dust that stuff. Shh. Anyway, I got that all squared away. Got everything, well, to the best I can at this moment. So, anyway, let me, I'm probably going to fumble around a little bit until I get used to this setup. So, like I say, I do not like it. Not a fan. I like my one monitor up there. So, however, the good thing is that video card. This video card has 3 outputs. This one I'm getting has 4 outputs. So I can still put me another monitor up there, and it just might happen. Let's see. All right, so this had came out, which is might be a little important. U.S. behind Nord Stream sabotage, says a legendary New York Times journalist. So, yeah, well, New York Times, but hey, we'll roll with it anyway. Nord Stream pipelines were destroyed last September by the U.S. in a covert operation, Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative journalist Seymour Hersh has claimed. The legendary reporter made the bombshell revelation in an article posted to his newly launched blog on Substack on Wednesday. The explosives were planted at the pipelines back in June 2022 by U.S. Navy divers under the guise of the Baltops 22 NATO exercise, Hersh reported, citing a source with direct knowledge of the operational planning. The journalist noted that he had reached out to the White House and CIA for comment, with both firmly rejecting the claim that the U.S. took out the pipelines as utterly false. The bombs were detonated 3 months later on September 26 with a remote signal sent by a sonar buoy. The buoy was dropped near the Nord Stream pipelines by a Norwegian Navy P-8 surveillance plane, according to the report. The operation came to fruition following months of back and forth between the White House, CIA, and military, with officials focusing on how to leave no trace of U.S. involvement in the attack. The planning process began back in December 2021, when a special task force was created with the direct participation of U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. The Navy proposed using a newly commissioned submarine to assault the pipeline directly. The Air Force discussed dropping bombs with delayed fuses that could be set off remotely. The CIA argued that whatever was done, it would have to be covert. Everyone involved understood the stakes, the report read. The source told Hersh that everybody involved understood the operation was not some kiddie stuff, but was actually an act of war. Throughout all the scheming, certain officials urged the White House to drop the idea entirely. Some working guys in the CIA and the State Department were saying, "Don't do this. It's stupid and will be a political nightmare if it comes out," according to the source. Originally, the explosives were to have a 48-hour timer and were set to be planted by the end of Baltops 22, Hersh reported, citing the same source. The 2-day window, however, was ultimately deemed to be too close to the end of the exercise by the White House, which ordered the task to come up with an on-demand method of detonating them. This ultimately turned out to be the sonar buoy. The administration of President Joe Biden has been focused on jeopardizing the Nord Stream pipelines, initially through sanctions and ultimately by direct sabotage, seeing it as key to swaying Europe to its cause amid the then-looming conflict in Ukraine, Hersh noted. As long as Europe remained dependent on the pipelines for cheap natural gas, Washington was afraid that countries like Germany would be reluctant to supply Ukraine with the money and weapons it needed to defeat Russia, he wrote. Moscow provided a similar take on the incident shortly after the blast, branding them a terrorist attack and stating that the U.S. was the nation that benefited most from it by accelerating Europe's attempts to wean itself off of Russian gas. So, anyway, it goes on to his history, the reporter's history, but yeah. I mean, I think pretty much most of us knew. I mean, I don't think we may not have known who were the ones that actually carried out the act, but I mean, come on. I wouldn't doubt this. I wouldn't doubt this to be true, and there is something that I picked up on in the article, and that was like the differences, like the change in the mission and deciding to use the sonar buoy and stuff like that. Those kind of details, yeah, that leads me to believe, that to me, that sounds feasible. Wouldn't doubt it. So anyway, the White House spoke out, and have another sip. All right, sorry about that. White House responds to Nord Stream investigation. U.S. President Joe Biden's administration on Wednesday blasted Pulitzer Prize winner Seymour Hersh for claiming that Washington was behind last year's sabotage of Russia's Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines, saying reporting by the veteran investigative journalist was utterly false and complete fiction. White House National Security Council spokeswoman Adrienne Watson denied the report hours after Hersh published his article on Substack. The former New York Times journalist, who rose to fame when he exposed the My Lai massacre of Vietnamese civilians in 1969, claimed that the U.S. Navy divers planted explosives on the Nord Stream conduits under the cover of the Baltops 22 NATO exercise last June in the Baltic Sea. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, we know all that. Let me make... I don't want to be repeating. It looks like there's a lot of repeating here. After the Nord Stream explosions in September, U.S. officials denied involvement and suggested that Russia may have sabotaged its own pipelines. In light of Hersh's reporting, Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova said on Wednesday that the White House must now comment on all these facts. And goes in talking a little bit about Hersh's history again. So now you know the U.S. response. Don't know nothing. Snowden, I mean, we might as well get his take on the situation. Edward Snowden, who exposed the U.S. government's mass surveillance program a decade ago, appeared unconvinced by Washington's stringent denial on Wednesday that it had anything to do with the bombing of both Nord Stream pipelines. The explosive story, which was published earlier in the day by the legendary investigative reporter Seymour Hersh, described the September 2022 explosions as the work of U.S. intelligence. He dutifully included the responses he received from the CIA and the White House, which denied everything and called the story completely and utterly false and complete fiction, respectively. Can you think of any examples from history of a secret operation that the White House was responsible for but strongly denied? Snowden tweeted on Wednesday afternoon. Besides, that little mass surveillance kerfuffle. He attached a lead from an April 1961 news story in which U.S. Secretary of State Dean Rusk denied the Bay of Pigs had been staged from American soil. Rusk also told reporters that the Cuban affair was one for the Cubans themselves to settle, but that the U.S. was sympathetic to enemies of the communist tyranny. Contrary to Rusk's denials, the 1961 invasion was a CIA operation that used Cubans opposed to Fidel Castro's government as proxies. In a social media post in May 2021, the U.S. spy agency showcased a commemorative coin minted for an anticipated but never realized Bay of Pigs victory. The agency's museum described the operation as an unqualified disaster, which ended with most of the 1,400 invaders captured or killed within 3 days. In addition to describing the details of the Nord Stream operation, Hirsch's article recalled the statements by U.S. President Joe Biden and Under Secretary of State Victoria Nuland, suggesting that U.S. bring an end to the natural gas pipeline connecting Germany with Russia. After the explosions, Western media quickly accused Moscow of blowing up its own pipeline to somehow spite the U.S. and its allies, though never offering any evidence to back up that claim. So, and the rest goes into the history with Snowden. Got a history lesson in every article. No, they do pretty good about going back. I mean, if you're not like me and reading almost all of the articles, good way to catch up. Okay. Slow down. Have another sip. Relax. Last tab I have open. Then it's headlines, and then we'll get out of here early, and I don't know. I'm too tired to run around the house and scream tonight. Neighbors are tired of hearing about how the end is nigh. And, you know, that little fluffy pink thing that I wear on my neck, I gotta wash it. Got muddy when I tripped over it and fell. What? Next I'm gonna start talking about about being a nom. Before I was born. She thinks I'm nuts. Anyway, well, maybe I am. Let's see. I guess we got one side left to hear on this ordeal, and that's the Russian side. So, I say Russian Security Council Secretary Nikolai Patrushev has said he has no information on who exactly sabotaged the Nord Stream pipelines last September. He was responding to a reporter on Wednesday when asked to comment on a new investigation by American journalist Seymour Hersh, who claimed the pipelines were targeted in a U.S. staged clandestine operation. Okay. Let's see. If they, the Americans, report that, you can go and ask them. I don't know who blew it up, Patrushev claimed ahead of a meeting of security officials in the Kremlin. The report was released by Hersh earlier in the day as the debut piece on his newly set up blog on Substack. According to an anonymous source with direct knowledge on the matter, the attack on the pipelines was commissioned by the White House and performed by the CIA and the U.S. Navy divers. And then this just goes into what they claim that they did. And this talks about the White House denial of it. And this is just more history into it. So, yeah. So, honestly, he probably took the common sense approach to addressing it because, you know, there's no evidence from this reporter either. So, you know, I mean, that is what it is. They would be foolish to take just somebody's news report like that, somebody's claims like that, and completely run with it as if it was truth. That would be kind of irresponsible for them to do. Now, that is absolutely something that the Biden administration would do. But other countries, not so much. It's crazy. We live in some crazy, crazy times. I mean, I wonder, this is just kind of an out there thought, but I wonder how many people, because you know it happened, I wonder how many people, individuals, you know, U.S. citizens or illegal immigrants, either way, how many people shot at the Chinese balloon as it flew over? I would love to know that number. I was thinking about that the other day. Because I guarantee you, It is miracle, after all. Can't even say it right. Miracle. Miracle, come and shoot these Chinese balloons. Give me a new Pabst Blue Ribbon. I can't even speak. Don't give me one of them cold ones. Them's nasty. Give me one of them warm ones. Man. Hanging out with old Uncle Jeb. No, I don't know. I don't got an Uncle Jeb. That I know of, anyway. Alright. Got some headlines, and then we'll get out of here since I lack a lot of maturity this evening. Biden heckled during State of the Union address, and I am just absolutely shocked by this. I mean, who would imagine that Joe Biden wouldn't have gotten the utmost respect and love and support? India will buy oil from wherever it's beneficial, says energy minister. I would tell you to do the same. I mean, hey, Amazon, Walmart, wherever. China's oil demand predicted to soar like a balloon. Let's see. Zelensky set fire to Ukraine. Says exiled opposition leader. French trade deficit doubles. Moscow assesses prospects for peace with Kiev. Real wages in Germany plummet, says data. German defense minister admits Ukraine doubts. Exiled opposition leader accuses Western-backed forces of using neo-Nazis in Ukraine. Turkish stock market suspends trading. UK offers to train Ukrainian pilots. Oh yeah, by the way, I don't think I shared a headline out. Twitter was down, messed up, I should say, a little bit earlier. I know I was trying to tweet out articles, and it was telling me that I had surpassed my limit, which is apparently 2,400 tweets a day. I don't know that I put out 2,400 tweets a year, so I was confuzzled. But apparently I wasn't the only cat that had that, so... let's see. Yeah, I don't know if I said that. I'm going to repeat just in case. UK offers to train Ukrainian pilots, so that is probably an important note. Ex-Russian governor facing 23 years in jail. About like Illinois governors. Iran's ghost fleet shipping sanctioned Russian oil, says Financial Times, even though I had the syntax of that way the hell off. 10,000 plus killed in Turkey, Syria earthquakes. I can't remember the last number I heard offhand. It was larger than that, though. Italian bakery to make bread with insect powder. Keep an eye out. This stuff's gonna get. It's just gonna go out. I mean, you won't be able to eat a prepared food that's not gonna have this stuff in it. You just watch. U.S. behind Nord Stream's. Oh, cover that. Russian lender granted banking license by Gulf state, says Financial Times. Russia invites rock icon to UN Security Council. Russia warns of direct clash with the U.S. Joe Rogan accused of anti-Semitism. Museum explains why it's removing Chinese cameras. So, The museum is concerned that that China could be, I don't know, spying on their museum security cameras. I just got a question. What type of top secret government military stuff are you doing in those museums? Because I'm pretty sure that them knowing what paintings you have hung on the wall, it's not a national security threat. But you do you, boo. Let's see. EU clearinghouse profits on frozen Russian assets. Majority of Canadians say their country is broken, says a poll. Well, yeah. We're right there with you. AI robs voice actors of their main tool, says media. So yeah, I guess Hollywood or whatever is at this point now to where they're asking these actors to sign over the rights to use their voice. They don't even need the actor anymore. It's just like they just need the signed paper that they can use their voice, and then they let the AI do the voice. Nice, huh? MH17 probe suspended. Moscow reveals time frame for response to Western oil sanctions. Sweden bans Quran burning protest. Let's see. Covered that. Google's AI makes mistake in first demo. Austria demands stronger EU border protection. Minister impeached for first time in country's history. Russia sanctions 77 Americans. I wasn't one of them. Roger Waters calls for ceasefire in Ukraine at UN Security Council. Covered that. Top Russian security official. Oh, I covered that. Porn star committed to mental hospital after dozens of sexual assaults. Wait, what? Okay. We'll just move on. NATO chief reveals size of Ukraine funding. Apparently the porn star is not comfortably numb anymore either. He doesn't like it now. I don't know. New Zealand celebrates largest ever drug seizure. Trump trails a popular governor in 2024 Republican race. Yeah. I told you, there just wasn't a whole lot. I mean, that's kind of a big thing with the Nord Stream that came out. It kind of makes sense how that guy says it went down. I know that there was something with one of those aircraft that flew in that vicinity right before the explosion. I mean, everything kind of makes sense with that. I mean, we'll never know. We'll never know for sure. Nobody will really never know except for the ones involved. And yeah, I don't know. Will Smith will come around with a little flashy thing and then they won't remember it. So, you know. That's the way it works. So you think he's an actor and he's not. He is, but he's an actor for the CIA. He'll come and flashy thing you. Well, you know. Either that or I'll walk up and slap Chris Rock. One of the two. I don't know. Either way. Alright. I don't have anything else. Because if I try to make up any more jokes, it's going to get worse than that. And, no, we're not going to do that. So I'm going to get out of here and relax the rest of the evening. You guys do the same. I hope you have a good evening. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Maybe my jokes will be better, but probably not. And anyway, I hope to see you tomorrow for some more abuse. So, anyway, hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.